Hi everyone. Welcome today. I never introduced myself, and I realized when I watch everyone else's videos, everyone introduces themselves. I'm Susie, and you're on Susie Evolutionary. Today we're gonna talk about a couple of things. How you can use tarot to tune into your own guides. So this isn't going to be, I was going to do tarot tips, and then I thought, really, that's such a complicated thing to get into. Good morning, everyone. If people don't have the basic understanding of tarot, that might be a little harder. So today we're going to talk about how you can use tarot as a tool to actually tune in to your guides and start to create a language between you and your guides, between you and your connections to spirit, because I don't believe in spiritual hierarchy. I think that, and I say this often, if I wanted dogma and rules, I would go back to the very... I would go back to being, Christian Catholic and fearing hell and all of those other things. I don't think that it's healthy if we see people that create a sense of hierarchy. Like, there's ethics about when somebody's ready to practice or take money to practice for other people. That's a totally different thing than helping people to develop their gifts. We're actually, my belief, and everybody has their own niche. When we look at spirituality, there's as many different specialties and avenues as there is medicine, quite frankly. So when we look at people who say one person has gifts and one person doesn't, I often get asked, can you see gifts in my chart? Everyone's got it. Everyone's got it, whether you tap into it and whether you nurture it. It's just like, my grandmother played piano, my great-grandmother played piano, my mom played piano. We had a piano in our house that was passed down. Guess who doesn't play piano? In practice. My mother was so disappointed. She wanted me, but I didn't put any continued practice into it, right? You also could have a fantastic career doing something else. You don't have to be fully engaged and immersed in a spiritual career to want to learn how to connect with your guides. And ultimately, what I want you to build is trust in yourself. I don't love prediction addiction. I don't love people who are not living their lives as fully as they can be in today, because they're waiting for the good to be happy. They're waiting for the good to stop feeling anxiety. They're waiting for the good. And I absolutely get readings. I get readings from other people who are, I trust, that I feel like they have integrity, so I trust my energy in their hands. But there's a difference between me now and me 7-8 years ago, when I could not get enough of other people's predictions from my life because I had zero trust in myself. I had zero trust in my own ability to make my own choices, because all I could look back and see was a rear view of what I felt was disastrous decisions at the time, what I felt were mistakes, what I felt was evidence that I did not know best. And so building trust in ourselves is so important. then I would get attached and hung up to whatever someone told me. This was going to happen, that was going to happen. And the thing is that even the best psychics, mediums, the only person that can give you a really close window of time is probably an astrologer. But psychically, even, you know, time can be the best. Some of the best mediums I know, including my friend Lana, will tell you, I'm seeing two. That could be 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. So we get hung up on time. We get hung up and we don't live in the now, right? And so while I'm absolutely somebody who pays my bills off of having sessions with others, I still don't want anyone coming to me because they feel like they cannot trust themselves to make decisions. Like, that literally makes me want to cry. That breaks my heart. I want you guys to trust in yourself. I want you all to, we need to, as a spiritual community, for those of us that are practicing at whatever level, at however many years that we are practicing, we need to help build the rest of the community. That's how we raise. We can't complain about the condition of the planet and then gatekeep. We can't complain about the condition of the planet or the condition of society or the oppression, you know, any of that. The lack of humanitarianism we see from the above structures. We can't talk about all that and then gatekeep and want to create a hierarchy where I'm so special, I'm the only one you should see, everyone else is a terrible reader or a terrible... When you hear that, no one else is doing this. No one else knows like I do. I see a lot of... Do I see a lot of scams? Do I see a lot of people who absolutely are either not ethical in the way that they practice or ready to die on a hill, that again creates dogma and rules that we're all mostly trying to deconstruct from to begin with? Sure. Do I have an ego to think that I'm the only one and I'm the best one? Gosh, no. And I think my Virgo rising and the imposter syndrome that comes with will always keep me kind of honest about that. But by all means, if anybody's watching me and I'm saying, you know, any of those things, if I'm coming off like I own a sense of spiritual hierarchy, please check me. Please feel free to check me. I think that it is our job as a spiritual community, once we feel our own confidence, to help build others. That is how we raise the vibration of the planet. That is how we change society. So whether you set up shop next to me, whether I have you on as a guest, and people start going to you rather than me, that is a microcosm perspective, probably coming from old wounds, abandonment, not being enough, those things, right? But it's really important to share what we know. I'm not going to speak on anything I don't know. I'm not going to speak on cultures that aren't mine, that I have no right to. When I talk about building your own intuition, when I talk about, and we're literally going to do tricks, and I'm going to teach you methods to build your own trust in your own communication with your guides, because I do want you to have that trust for yourself. I don't want you to get stuck in prediction addiction, and I don't want you to ever feel like I did 8 years ago when I felt like I could not trust myself. We're going to talk about deconstructing spiritual hierarchy just a little bit, and that's just in recognizing the red flags. If somebody is here in this earthly plane and calling themselves a spiritual master, in my humble opinion, that's a red flag. We live many lifetimes because we can't learn everything in one lifetime. We cannot. And I think even if you're going to talk ascended masters, let's say, you know, Buddha, and again, there's others. Some would say Jesus Christ is an ascended master. There's many ascended masters for each culture and religion. Buddhism actually does not want that the term of master, because it creates hierarchy. When you see somebody that is telling you that you need them to make decisions, that you shouldn't make any decisions till you talk to them again, makes you feel shamed for taking a different path or a different action than they advised as per whatever their gift, divination, or even astrological advice might be. That's probably time to expand. And people grow, and that person might also grow out of feeling like that. That's actually usually a defense mechanism. That's usually worry that that's their own imposter syndrome sometimes. Manifests all different ways, and nobody should be judged for that. But keep your mind open, and anybody that tells you that they're the only practitioner that you need to go to, that's probably a little bit of a red flag. Somebody who spends more time on their platform talking about how everybody is doing everything wrong, to create, again, a sense of hierarchy, that's probably a red flag. So the other part of deconstructing that is showing you all how to connect yourself and teaching you to build trust in yourself. The last thing that we will talk, that I have scheduled to talk about today, is spiritual hygiene. And that is just making sure that once you open yourself up to connection, to source, to spirit, whatever you want to call it, if you like it, I love it. But once you start opening yourself up, what are you doing as far as your own spiritual hygiene and of the space that you're in? Because source is source, and once we open up, it's like opening up a portal, and just so that as people kind of awaken to their gifts and they start to, they're going to manifest different ways. If you're clairvoyant and clairaudient, you could be hearing things. So what I want to teach you, the communication, so that you can clarify any communication you may get from guides. Excuse me. Sadie, you're not alone. I'm right in here. I think she might have like dementia or something. She gets like disoriented and cries now. But we want to also make sure that we don't get scared. If we have an event, if we maybe think that we hear something or something happens or we keep getting a physical sensation, I want you to understand how to have spiritual hygiene so that you kind of know that you're taking an insurance policy out on nothing that feels unwelcome is in your space or affecting you in any way. And the other thing I want to teach you is how powerful you are and how very little tools you need to do that. Tools, and we just had this conversation in my astrological group last night, and you are all powerful. Tools should be supportive. They should be supportive. They should not make you feel like you are powerless without them. If anyone tells you you need a divination tool, a crystal, an incense, a certain way of smudging, a certain spell, a certain intention, you can't do this unless you have A, B, C, and D. And I need to help you because that's hierarchy. That is making you feel less powerful than you really are. Seeing the comments, I really appreciate everybody being here. I didn't think that I would have a whole bunch of people today because I was like, I don't know if this is, it feels really important for me to talk about it. I don't know, was it important for everybody else to hear it? But I'm looking at the comments and I'm thinking maybe this is going to be a part 2 because, yeah. So somebody just said we don't need sage. I'm going to tell you, I'm really a person, let me phrase this properly. I am a person who understands that I am not indigenous. I am not African American. I am not of Middle Eastern culture. I am not of Eastern Asian culture, anything. I am a white girl who has Swedish and Irish heritage. I don't believe I can, as a white person, I don't think that I should be participating in practices, one, that don't belong to my culture, two, that have been weaponized against that culture by the very people that I represent, right? And so, like, when we look at deconstructing racism, hate, bias, bigotry, that is absolutely, we can look at a million ways how people who are lacking melanin still benefit from that today. So I am not going to take something like sage, which is an indigenous practice. And I'm going to talk about sage too with the spiritual hygiene. I am not going to use sage because it's not appropriate for me. One of the things that were used to justify so much violence against that community was the woo-woo. Was taking organized religion used for control and naming that as the reasons why those other people, indigenous people, whatever the practice was, Santeria, whatever it was that is evil. That is bad. These people are bad. We should, we can harm them because what they're doing is of the devil. It's not of our practice. And so sage and all of that was weaponized against them. So it's not for me. Everybody should do what they want. I don't use white sage. I will use black sage. I will use rosemary. I will not use white sage. There are indigenous, and absolutely look to the indigenous community for how they feel about it. The other thing is sage is not used to cleanse. It is used to bring Great Father Spirit in. It's like another leg of how that was an appropriated spiritual tool that was also weaponized against them and used to justify violence against that community. And it's not even being like, sage is not for cleansing. Sage is used to bring Great Spirit in, Father Spirit. So it shouldn't be using sage to cleanse. Also, you can cleanse a million different ways. You don't have to use a smudge. If you live in an apartment and you have pets, you probably shouldn't be using smoke-based cleansing practices because it's not good for everyone. I said what I said. you know, we're not going to do this whole episode on white appropriation of spiritual practices that culturally don't belong to us, and furthermore were actually used by the white community, that to justify, I could just say injustice and try to make it all clean and nice and wrap it in a bow, but violence, racism, bigotry. So I am always actively trying to deconstruct and be mindful and be learning, and own what it is, own whatever privilege that I receive from looking like me, growing up like me. So Sage, yeah, I have dragon's blood. There's so many other things, but I just don't. Now, if you want to patronize an indigenous business that makes sage and feels comfortable, or educates, that's a personal choice. I'm just going to share what I know and how I feel. I am trying to learn all the time. So once I learn something, then I try to own it, and then I just don't practice. Whether that's a speech, a colloquialism, a phrase that's actually rooted in racism, whatever it is. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So, and also, it's funny to me that it's like not only, it's almost like the confirmation that it should be used by people who aren't using it properly. Because it's not, if that was your culture, it would be handed down to you. Celtic practices for me, sure. Norse practices for me, sure. But I won't pretend either to be educated about a cultural spiritual practice that I'm not, because that would be doing everyone a disservice. And, I think people of color get their platform material stolen. So I'm not going to watch somebody and be like, oh, I know this now, so let me share it. Just me. So we're going to talk about spiritual hygiene, which has a lot more to do with what you're bringing in, what you're bringing out, and little things that you can do. And really, again, empowerment. You have more, power than you realize, right? And so tools are supportive, and you are not powerless without them. So there's a comment saying, I really wish people could be more respectful of other people's beliefs and not get so defensive. I'm not sure how that's meant, but I just want to be respectful. I agree with respectful. I want to be respectful and constantly deconstructing, because that's the way we're going to get also a higher vibration. I don't want this to turn into, but people that have been oppressed through systematic laws, ways, cultures, control, whatever, are not the ones in the power to then deconstruct those same systems. So it should be the people who made, and if we just turn around and say, well, I wasn't there 200 years ago, but we're here now. It's still here. And so the people who are here now, we can all work together to kind of be respectful and understand what's ours, and what's not ours, and that's okay. And we can respect it. Exactly. We can respect it and honor it, and think it's amazing and still not practice it. Restraint, man. So let's talk about who has a tarot deck here. And if you're joining me in the replay viewers section, first of all, I adore the replay viewers. And if I'm just never on when it's convenient for you, for time zone, for working, whatever, please leave me please leave me a comment and tell me when would be a good time, because I'm up for switching things up to be accessible to everyone. Okay, so we don't want to have fear. It's just when you know better, do better. Obviously, if you're not going out of your way, that's one thing. I wasn't going out of my way to be disrespectful to another culture. So as soon as I knew, okay, then I'm not going to use that anymore. So I wouldn't, don't worry about it. If you already bought sage, but I just, especially because a lot of people buying sage are not the people who should be profiting from sage as a spiritual tool. Anyway, all right, so let's move on. Thank you, replayer viewers, for watching. If you are home and you don't have a tarot deck to grab now, you can actually grab a deck of cards. Deck of playing cards will serve for the purpose of what I'm going to teach you now. So yeah, lots of decks. So you can grab a deck of tarot cards, or you could grab a deck of playing cards. I'm just going to get the replay viewers can pause. I'm just going to give a second for the live chat. Hi, Amber. And let me just say hi to everybody in the chat while there's people. Hi, Juan. I know Monique. I saw you and I saw that you had to leave. Hi, Maricela and Adva and Heather. Hi, Tiffany and Annika and Dolly. Dolly, I have to email you back. Hi, Zach and Maya. Hi, Shauna, Tanya, Natalie. Hi, Sunny. How are you? Hi, Shorty. Hi, Betty and Kina. Oh, I love this group. Okay, great. Hi, Stella. Hi, Zach. And Amber just joined us. That's okay. So you grab any deck. So here's the thing. Everyone has a spiritual team. You all have guides. Hi, Renata. So you all have guides, and guides can be a mix of an old ancestor, and people you've never met. You probably have one guide that's been with you every life, every minute of every lifetime. And then you have other guides that will come in and out during periods of your life. But you definitely have a whole spiritual team. And then there are people that you can call on. Like if you are feeling like you need protection, you could call on Archangel Rigel or Archangel Michael. And I'm going to say this just quickly. Here is, like, if we're talking about job positions in your spiritual team. Hi, Dora. It looks like this. Your guides are just there for you, right? They're going to guide you. They're going to try to get your attention. You can ask them for energy. around something, you can ask them for confirmation on things. You can ask them to get messages for you. Hi, Gemini love. They're not good. We still have to, even when we manifest things, we still have to put some earthly 3D human action behind what we are asking for. There are archangels. Archangels, literally, if you ask them to do something for you, it's kind of like that's their job. So if you ask Rigel to take care of a really nasty situation because you don't want to deal with somebody, she will protect you and do that. Michael is a fighter, right? I don't want to get, again, I don't want, it would be so easy to take a left turn in Albuquerque and just talk about like the archangels. And I am not nearly, what I'll do is I'll have a guest that I know is just phenomenal at all of that, because it would be doing you all a disservice to serve you up an episode on archangels without having somebody who has far more knowledge and detail and expansive help for all of you about that subject. But archangels, basically, if you ask them to do something, I don't want to say they have to do it, but that is their job. Like, they're not gonna, that's not good for you, I'm not gonna do it. So when you ask archangels to come help, that's their job, right? Is to help the humans. Angels, regular old angels, please, for the love of God, let me explain. For the love of Zeus's beard, great Odin's beard. If you've ever heard the term fallen angel, it's because once an angel falls, they don't go back and forth. Like, your guide may be somebody, you may have a couple of guides within your team that have lived an earthly life. Angels don't. They don't, an angel, probably has 20 eyeballs and wings and look really weird. They're not little cherubs. Also, they haven't experienced human emotions like jealousy. Yeah. Archangels, yes, Maricela. Archangels are really supposed to just, that is their spiritual position. Okay, got it. Angels will also do what you ask them to, but they are going to do it in a manner, like, forgive me, like a sociopath. They have no attachment to jealousy, heartbreak. All of that to them is like foreign. They're gonna do, if you call the angels in, and I use this example all the time. If somebody wanted to get married and just says, I want to, like, please, angels, I want to be married. I want to be engaged by the end of the year. I want to be engaged by the end of next year. Within, a week, you could be finding texts on your significant other's phone of another person that is not you. And you are crying and upset because your angels are now moving the person that you're not supposed to get married to out of the way. You're not getting married to that person. So instead of it being like a slow, they're just going to be like, okay, let's... They won't understand why you're crying. Please I'm just saying, angels are great. They're amazing. They don't have any understanding of human social attachment, constructs. So, we're going to talk about that in spiritual hygiene. Somebody's saying about archangels. So like, oh, I have a list of people. We're going to talk about that when we get to the spiritual hygiene. I'm trying to keep on track here. But yeah, so angels are great, wonderful, great, awesome, great vision, 20 eyeballs. Love it. Top, chef's kiss, top tier. But they are going to execute your wish to the angels, your prayer to the angels, whatever you want to call it. They're going to execute that in a non-attachment, non-human emotion. They don't get resentment. They don't get regret. They don't get, again, jealousy or heartbreak. They're just, you want to get married by the end of next year. They're going to move the person out of your way that's in your way. So be careful what you ask to have sped up. Be careful saying, I just want to get all of this healing over with. Because if you just say, I just want to get it all done, like everything sucks, everything hurts, I'd rather just have all the healing. Careful what you're asking for. Careful what you're asking for. Things are kind of timed out for a reason. Sometimes we don't get all of our gifts at once, because if we did, it would probably freak us out. I mean, I think it's amazing. And I think this new generation is coming in with gifts so obvious, and I think they have less amnesia. But, you know, I think about poor Tyler, because I believe 1,000% that, like, Tyler, the medium, he's real, right? He's so genuine. But he remembers being little, like little, and having his grandma come to him before she passed to let, you know, or before anybody knew she was passed. He remembers being in school and watching a teacher's loved one show up. He is so young. He's such a beautiful person. It doesn't look from his lifestyle like he has a lot of bad eating habits or like alcohol or smoking or anything like that. At very young, he's already having health problems, because it's a lot to take in. So absolutely do your healing work. Absolutely do your shadow work. You do what feels comfortable to you. My humble advice would be, do not ask universe, angels, archangels, any of that. Do not ask another practitioner to just get everything over with. I know that sounds ideal, but I want you to imagine that you wanted to renovate your house. And if anyone's ever done this or renovated a business, it takes fucking forever. Even a kitchen demo, right? It feels like, oh my God, I'm going to be so happy when this is done. I'm going to be so happy when all this clutter out, all this stuff I hate, all this old stuff, all the stuff that doesn't serve me anymore. Can you imagine how you would... I'm not talking about Tyler's tarot. I'm talking about like Tyler Henry, the medium. There's a Netflix show if you haven't seen it. Tyler's tarot is hilarious. I will absolutely co-sign to that. If you wanted to redo every room in your house and you said, let's just get it all over with now. Can you imagine demoing every room in your house? That's a hard way to live. That would be a really hard way to live. When we revamp, when we refurbish, when we redesign, when we clean out and start fresh, you don't want to do that all at once. It would be the same as demolishing your entire house at once instead of designing it, redesigning it or demoing it or renovating it room by room. You want to do the room by room. You want to let one thing heal and then discover another. And also, you'll get your gifts as you can have something that you think is healed for like 5-10 years. And then all of a sudden it pokes you again and you thought, shit, I thought I healed that. Right? So you will have full access. If everybody had full access to their gifts, oh my God, what a different planet this would be. Well, I don't know that you would miss out on the important lessons, but we can talk about that. There are other ways that you miss out on lessons. And that part of that has to do with prediction addiction. If somebody, sometimes it's not time for you to be done with somebody, because there's one more lesson, right? If somebody cuts short your experience through divination or prediction, then yes, absolutely. If you ask the universe to bring all of your healing on at once, it doesn't mean you miss out on anything. It means you experience it all at once. So that could mean like your parent is sick, your spouse is living a double life, your job doesn't exist anymore, you get sick, you break up with a friendship that you've had for 30 years, one of your beloved animal dies, and your kid's acting up, and it all happens the same week. You don't want that. You don't want that. That can bring, my goodness, a nervous breakdown. So let things unfold a little bit, which is really hard to do, but let things unfold a little bit in their good time. That's why I'm saying don't ask for all of it at once. I think you're right, Heather, and I think there are ways that we can miss important lessons, but we're not really going to miss them. What's going to happen is they're going to get delayed. So you think you like cleaned it up because you cleaned up that person or that situation, and then universe will just send you a similar person or a similar situation until you, right. It sounds good. Let me just get it all over with once, guys. And I'm saying that partially because I did it. And I remember crying to my friend who was also like one of my spiritual mentors at the time. This is years ago. And I was like, what could I have done in this life so bad that I would have no one person should be expected to carry all of this at once? It's so incredibly painful. And she looked at me and said, I remember the day that you said, I just want to deal with all of it. Life has been so bumpy. I'm sure I can handle it. I just want all of it at once. Not knowing what I was asking for, really. I thought I knew. You're going to have to come up through the couch. I built you a thing. Come up on the couch. Come on. There you go. Come up on here. Come on. I know. Come on. You got to come up there, and then here you go. Now you can come up here. See? I made that just for you. Sorry, guys. Hi, Little John. So just when we're talking about establishing communication with your guides, we are talking about getting clarification, understanding what you're feeling within your body, because hi Peacock, once we kind of open up, once we kind of start plugging into our gifts, I refer to it as like the operation guy, right? Sometimes we can start feeling stuff all over our bodies. I had a session with a client over the weekend because they were getting physical sensations that were waking them up from a dead sleep. You know, the other thing is the reason I felt the importance to do this video is because Saturn is in Pisces and Neptune is Pisces. And that is the esoteric, exoteric, astrological version of as below, so, so above, or as above, so below. Neptune, right, is the ethers. It can be very 5D. Hi, TS. It can be very 5D. And Saturn is the most grounding planet, right? So we have both of them in Pisces, which lends itself to 12th house matters, which lends itself to, having connection between the 5D. Hi, Miss Pisces. Right now, I think that you're all going to be getting, I think the planet needs more people in touch with their sources, in touch with their gifts. I think we need a higher vibration right quick. And I think at this point, we're going to see that. We can look at the Schumann resonance and see the activity and how much it's accelerated, and also just the astrological over the next year. And when this next 20 years is over, we go into Pluto and Pisces. And none of us have been alive to see that, obviously, but also I don't think any of our parents or grandparents have been. My dad was born in 1929 towards the end of the Pluto in Cancer. So it's unlikely that we have grandparents or there's probably not anyone alive that has seen Pluto. Pluto wasn't even discovered yet, so it wouldn't have been a discussion. Pluto in Pisces is I believe when we're gonna see like a lot of one source connectivity, right? So before that, though, we have this Neptune and Saturn in Pisces right now. It can offer a grounding for you to be connected more to that 5D. It can also, the Neptune in Pisces is just connectivity. And I mean, I'm certainly experiencing an influx of sessions and clients that I feel like they're having extreme moments of what just happened, or signs, or hearing voices. And if you think that you're hearing things, and you're not sure if that's because you have so much going on and that's some kind of an emotional or mental crisis, or whether that's your guides. If you're clairaudient, you might hear things. And that's a gift, but until we understand that, it might not feel like a gift. So I want everyone to be able to, A, trust in themselves, the things they're feeling, hearing, seeing, experiencing, dreaming. And I want you to know how to like break it down, clarify it, confirm things, and also like figure out if you're safe or not. Right? Which most of the time you will be. Most of the time you will be. And if you're not feeling safe, I want you to understand that you have the power to make yourself safe. Most of the time without hiring somebody else to help you do it. Yes. So you can't. Okay. So before we actually get into the cards, let's talk about that. There are more, I think there's 6 gifts altogether, because there's clear tasting and clear smelling. I have a little bit of the clear smelling, but I really don't, I can't like call on it. But when I have it, it's really, really strong. It's crazy. And it usually has to do with one other person. And so far, most of my experience it had been like when my aunt passed. Before I knew she passed, I could smell the soaps in her bathroom, which are very, very, very specific smell that I don't know to have existed anywhere else in my almost 53 years. And so, or I could smell somebody's, like the smell of their skin, you know, when somebody doesn't use cologne or anything and they just smell a certain way. And that person was far away, and I would be like, were you at any chance just thinking of me? And they told me exactly what they were thinking of in the experience, and I was thinking of the same thing, and I could smell it. I have experienced it for other people, but that's not something I can call on. There's clear tasting, where all of a sudden you feel like you're tasting something that doesn't make sense for you to be tasting. But the 4 major ones that we usually deal with in this spiritual realm is clairaudience, where you might hear things, clairvoyance, where you literally see visions while your eyes are open, or you see you can see things with your eyes closed. And then there's another facet of clairaudience, which is remote viewing, where you can literally see inside somebody's home you've never been in, you don't even know those people. That Connie Jo can do that at times. She's just amazing. That is like a really high octave, right? Then there's clairsentience. Some people refer to this and say, I'm an empath. And what I will say to people all the time is, I'm going to quote the great John Edwards. You don't want to be an empath. Being an empath is like being risotto. You will absorb the environment in what you're in, right? So if you put risotto and chicken broth, it's going to have one flavor. If you put it in shellfish stock, it's going to have another flavor. If you, you know, I could make a lovely chai broth, and it would taste like whatever you put it in, it's going to absorb. That, when you're an empath, you're absorbing other people's energy. You don't want to do that. That is a burden for you not to carry. And we're going to talk about that more in spiritual hygiene. But when you are clairsentient, you can feel other people's emotions, thoughts. But another octave of that is that, and maybe that's a whole other video, I personally can feel different things throughout my body, like the operation guy. So I can feel if somebody's actually having like palpitations, but then there's like another section of the area where my heart is, where I can feel a mother's guilt. I can feel like actual heartbreak. I can feel heaviness. It's really, really interesting that I can, so I can feel all different things depending on the situation. I have different spots in my body where I can clock either the person I'm dealing with or the person they're asking about. But you can feel into things. And there's claircognizance. Claircognizance is like if clairaudience and clairvoyance just popped into your head and you don't know where it's coming from. It's just a download. It's a thought. It's information that you only have because source gave it to you. And what's interesting is I find that a lot of people that are claircognizant are also hounds for education. They are also people who are, a lot of the times they are well-read or love to learn, and or have just lived a lot of life and have a lot of life experience. And claircognizance, I think, is one of the gifts that is the hardest to clock, because you're like, do I know that because that's a download, or do I just know that because that's a good guess because I have a wide base of information to make an assumption like that? So one of the things that I say all the time, sorry guys, looking for my other cord because this cord just decided that it's gonna stop working while I'm in the middle. One of the ways to do it, and you've probably heard me say this, so forgive me if this is a repeat for anyone, but what you want to do is think about your pineal gland, your third eye right here, right? And if we think about that enough and we concentrate our breath, or we like breathe in and feel like, imagine yourself breathing out through the third eye instead of your mouth or your nose. So breathe in, but it'll start to tingle right away. It's a gland. You can activate it. Now, think about in the back of your head that there is a double. Your library can look like whatever it is. In the back of your head, in the back of your brain, is your library of gained knowledge. Whether you sought that knowledge out or whether you just experienced it in life, that is your library of gained knowledge. We're going to ask our guides to make the back of our head tingle when it's just information that we already had, and our third eye tingle when it is a downloaded claircognizant from source information. That is my best advice for claircognizant people. Claircognizant people is like it's almost like being gaslighted by your gifts. You're like, do I know that because I know that? Or do I know that because source just gave me that information? For me, one of the ways that helped me sort out that I definitely did. So, and the way that I knew that I absolutely was claircognizant is I was corrective colorist and a makeup artist, because a lot of people that do this, you couldn't go to college and be like, I'm going to be a metaphysical practitioner in the 80s, or in the 70s, or even really the 90s. So a lot of us that are older had whole other careers where we were kind of practicing gifts, but not practicing it for a living. So I was a corrective colorist and a makeup artist, stylist, whatever, in New York for a long time. And I would have clients in my chair that I would not know. I would connect so easily, and people would say all the time to me, I don't understand how you understand me so well, or you know me. And then I would get a vision of their childhood, like a specific vision. Like I could see them as a child. Even my one friend who's an adult, I don't know what their childhood was like. They're a dude. They don't talk about stuff like that. What I really didn't know is that, and I had known them since we were teenagers, so he was kind of fully grown and looks like he does now, is that his black hair was like blonde curls when he was little. And I kept seeing this little boy running around the kitchen. I won't share the rest of it because it's private. But that is when I knew that if I would just have thoughts where I feel like I know that, that this happened. And so that part was the confirmation that I had that gift. However, it took years until I could develop the tool between whether I knew it was downloaded information or whether it was information I already had to decipher. And I still doubted. And to this day, I still check myself every time to make sure that I'm not saying something is a downloaded channeled message when it is just a really good amalgamation of information that allows me to be insightful. It's almost worse the more well-read. Hi, Stacy Love. It's almost worse when you have more information that you've gone out of your way to gain, and more life experience, because you really will check yourself to make sure. So claircognizant, clairsentient, where you feel, clairvoyance, where you see, and clairaudience is healing. And those are a hearing, and those are the main four. So most people have two really strong, and then they might have a third or fourth, a little less strong. Can you develop all of them? Yes. And mediumship is different. And I'm not a medium, so I'm not going to speak on mediumship. But also when you're claircognizant, you can see like little movies in your head, like snippets. But it's not like a vision. It's not a vision of something that's going to happen. It's not, you can have precognizant dreams too when you're clairsentient and claircognizant. But it's not the same as clairvoyance, where you can clearly see like it's happening now. It's hard to explain. But anyway, so those are the gifts. So this is exactly why now I want to show you one of the ways that you can lean into learning how to clarify that confirmation and creating a language between you and your guides. When we get messages, when we get, even again, the best mediums in the world, their guides, and crossover loved ones are going to show them and give them the messages through the vehicle of the things that person knows. So what Spirit is going to show me, and this is how I kind of worked around this card communication development, was because you've heard me say it if you've ever been in my lives on Fridays or Saturdays. they're showing me this, they're showing me that. I know that means I'm supposed to talk about this for you. They will give me a movie reference, I know. They're going to give me cartoon references, I know. They're going to give me scenes from my own life that I know to explain to me the message they're trying to get to you. Because if they show me a movie that you know, I might not know it. They cannot get messages. So clairvoyance is going to be a little different, because sometimes they can just show somebody an actual scene from your life, or a vision of something. But most of the time, you're going to get messages based on your frame of reference in life. Songs, it really is very interesting. So they are already creating a language with you. When they do that, they are already creating the language of communication when they show you a scene from your own life, because you're supposed to relate that that's what's going on with them right now, or this is what's going on with that person, or that is already them establishing a language whether you know it or not. So we can further that communication by asking our guides to come in. You know what? I said I was going to give a giveaway. Let me think. Maricela, because I know you won't be shy about it. Why don't you think about a number? Give it a 30 number range. There's 30 people in here. And let's give away a chart and a report. I don't care what kind of chart. I don't care what kind of report. Just any chart or report that I can give you. We're going to give away readings today too. But I have to get a different cord before I die on you all. Well, my phone dies, my camera. So, Maricela, are you game? Do you want to think of a number and let people guess? And if she doesn't, does somebody want to volunteer? One of my regulars, like Stacy, Shauna. I'm trying to pick people that I know. I just know Maricela's a spitfire. So, because what I'm thinking is I'm going to have you guys kind of conduct your own. Hi, Moanne. Okay. Wait, Maricela didn't say she would do it yet. Maricela didn't say she could do it yet. She might have stepped away. We don't even have somebody getting a number yet. You shouldn't try to guess a number until there's a person thinking of a number, because it's hard to use your intuition. You guys, no one's guessing numbers yet. Maricela hasn't consented. I don't even know if she's in the chat. You guys are funny. Okay, Maricela. So none of the numbers that were guessed before she says, okay, everybody hold on. Okay. Maricela, do you want to think of a number in a 30 number range? So like from 30 to 60. Nobody guessed yet. I am dying. Let her do it and feel into the number. So you guys can use it as an intuitive exercise. And she can already see the numbers, so she's not, this is hilarious. She can see the numbers, so she's probably not, because then she would have, right. So, oh my God, Juan, you're killing me. Hi, Alt. No one's guessing numbers yet. Okay, so Maricela, Yes. Wait till Maricela in the chat says she's got a number. When she says, I've got the number, I would probably try to avoid like 1 through 40 because everybody's guessed those. Maybe do like, 60 through 90 and let people pick or something like that. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm afraid my phone's going to die, but I wanted to make sure I didn't leave you with the craziness. Okay, Maricela's got her number. What's the range, Maricela, between what and what? Let's do a 30 range so that we're not here for another 5 minutes. I'll have to cut this all out later. Yeah, give a 30 number range so this way. And Maricela is full of water, so if you try to connect with her, feel into it. We're just going to wait for her to give us the number range. Okay, 60 to 90. Go ahead, start guessing. All right, I'm going to go get my charger. I'm almost back. You can hear my flip-flops through the house. Okay. Okay. I'll cut this all out later. I can't believe I still have the same amount of people. Did somebody guess it yet? Amber, hey, yay. Okay, awesome. So Amber, you're just going to go to susieevolutionary.com and there's the thing that says contact. And if it's not right on the top of the menu, it'll be under more. And just be like, hi, I'm Amber, and I want this way to have your email address. And we can talk about what chart you want. You can get a solar return report. You can get an asteroid report. You can get a harmonics report. You can get a lunar phase report. I don't have a ton, but I have some pretty good ones. Okay. All right. So that's the first one. We're going to give away, I think I'm going to give away 2 readings today because, and I'm not saying it so that you guys all say the nice things, but I feel like it's really important around our birthdays, our solar returns. We're here for another year. I'm really grateful, and I'm grateful for the community. And I think that giving back and keeping that, that good karma cyclical is important. So I'm going to give away 2 readings. And then, of course, I'm having my Give Back flash sale. It starts at 8 o'clock tonight. That's also on my website. All right, so let's all do a couple of things. One, I just want you to like take a deep breath. And when you think about taking a deep breath, breathe in through your nose. And when you're breathing in, I want you to think about filling your lungs, but pushing that air down to like your root chakra, which is, you know, the bottom of your spine. So think about breathing in and almost like pushing that air down as you hold into the root chakra, letting it vibrate there, and then exhaling. Also, when we're inhaling and holding, and then as long as we exhale longer, doesn't matter if it's 4 seconds and then 5 seconds or 6 seconds and 7 seconds. If you exhale longer than you inhale and hold, you're going to put your nervous system back into parasympathetic mode, which is really helpful for nerves. It helps to calm you. It also helps calm the brain so that you can connect through source. All right, so let's take another deep breath, and we want to ground ourselves when we're channeling. That's kind of important. That's part of spiritual hygiene. We want to take another deep breath in through the nose. Hold it, push it down into the root chakra. Okay. You want to relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, relax everything. Now, whether you feel a physical sensation or anything else, you can just say hello to your guides. So whether you want to call them your angels, whether you want to call them universe, I say universe, spirits, and guides. That's what I always say when I'm beginning the process. So you just want to say, you know, hi, universe, spirits, and guides. Hi, whatever you want to call them. And just say, I would like to call, or I am calling all of my power back to me now from anyone using it with or without my permission. That is the first thing I do because I want to feel empowered to reject the energy, to cleanse the energy that isn't mine to carry. So after you take a couple of deep breaths, exhale longer than you inhale, relax your shoulders, relax the body, let your parasympathetic kick in, so that you don't have anxiety or anxiousness or nervousness about whether you can or can't do it. Sometimes just the like, I don't know if I'm going to get that. You're waiting for this big epiphany. That's the other thing. You can be connected without having a chorus of angels come in front of you, or hearing voices. You can be absolutely connected. You just have to ask to be connected. That's it. If anyone says like, oh, you'll know if you're connected because of blah, if you ask to be connected, it's unlikely that you won't be. Take a deep breath, relax the body, exhale longer, putting your nervous system into parasympathetic mode where it wants to be, right? And then just say hi to your guides. Hi, welcome in, thank you. You know, I usually do get like a little physical, there it is. When they're letting me know we're fully connected, you're good to go. It could be a chill. It could be like a sensation on your neck. It's going to be different for everyone. Some people get itchy nose. The first thing I ask is that if thank you for being here, and I call back my power now from anyone or any entity using it with or without my permission. a lot of times you will get a physical sensation once you say that. The second thing I ask before I start chatting with guides or I'm opening up for source, because I haven't really taught you about like opening up your crown and pushing out the energy and all that yet. The second thing I'm going to ask is or not ask, but state, because this is the power here, not right? So I reject any energy that isn't mine to carry. I release any energy that isn't mine to carry. You're going to call back your power to you so that you are fully standing in your power. No one's siphoning off of it. Energy vampires. You know, there's a million ways that people can be kind of pulling off your energy. We know that because we get home from work and we're drained. You could sit at a desk all day and not be physically exhausted and still be drained. These are good practices to do when you wake up in the morning. These are good practices to do when you get in your car, before you get out of your car for work, anytime. But we're going to use them for this purpose now. So you're calling back your power from anyone or any entity, using it with or without your permission. And then I release and reject any energy that is not mine to carry. Upon that, I usually take another minute, make sure like the tongue isn't stuck to the roof of my mouth. Relax my shoulders. Be grateful for the release of energy that isn't, so that I am a clear channel. And also so that I have the energy to be in this capacity for a longer time. The third thing that I clear is that I reject and am not accepting any energy that is negative or not conducive to this healing space, because I'm holding space for all of you. It's super important that I make sure ethically and in a spiritual hygiene way that I'm not letting in stink, stank, stunk energy right now. Can I transmute it? Sure. But I don't want to have to do that in the middle of doing all this. So my insurance policy is that call back my power. Sadie, you're okay, honey. You have water and food. Yeah, you're okay. It's okay. Yeah, you should take a nap. Sorry, guys. Call back your power. Release. So you're calling back and then you're releasing anything. And if you call back your power first, then you're going to be more empowered to be able to do the releasing. This is new. She heard Nikki do it the other day when Emily left. Nikki went into his, like, you know, wailing, yelling, crying. He sounds like the sometimes I'm alone. Hello. He does that all the time. I died when I saw that video. I was like, that is Nikki's soulmate, clearly. So she noticed that I then stopped what I was doing to go comfort Nikki. So since she heard Nikki, she's very smart. So since she heard Nikki do it, she's doing it all the time. Sometimes she goes into the bathroom for the acoustics, and I'm not kidding. Emily was very disturbed when she heard her do it for the first time yesterday, and I was like, yeah, she's fine. She just wants me to stop what I'm doing. Anyway, you're going to call back your power. You're going to release any energy that does not belong to you and is not yours to carry. And then you are going to reject any negative energy being sent intentionally or unintentionally. Intentionally or unintentionally. I call back my power to me now from anyone using it with or without my permission. I release any energy that is not mine to carry and does not belong in this space. And I reject any negative energy being sent to me or given to me, intended or unintended. I am going to reference now when somebody said like, oh, I got a list of people. I send it back. I don't ever send it back with 10 times the power. I don't ever send it back with like, return to sender times 10. You can. If you want to do that, you can. I sit with people when they already feel dark. I sit with people to help eradicate shame. I sit with people to normalize that dark needs to exist for the light, and we can't be toxically positive all the time. There's no room in my space for me to have an energetic Venus and Serena bullshit negative energy game with anyone or anything. It's not for me. You guys can do whatever you like, right? But I always return it to sender wrapped in love, light, and forgiveness. Return to sender wrapped in love, light, and forgiveness. You can also say love, light, forgiveness, and I've heard Cat and Boots say divine justice. I just feel like I don't need to know about their justice. I don't want to be that invested. It's crazy to me to like call back my power, to release any energy that isn't mine, and then get invested in somebody else's consequences. That's like, let me call back all my power and then let me give it away again. Let me call back all my power and release anything that I'm not supposed to be dealing with, and then let me involve myself and Maricela is not making fun of anyone. It was her. I get it, right? So you can, if you want to like wean yourself off of like, I hope they trip in front of people that they want to impress or whatever, like, I find that all amusing too, like those songs and everything. But when it comes right down to it, and I know I'm being sent stunk energy, I will send it back. We can also have an episode on transmutation where you can send the shit that people try to send you, and you can transmute it into every time somebody wishes me ill for my business, or anytime somebody thinks that I'm fake, I gain prosperity. Every time somebody makes fun of my weight, my crooked teeth on the bottom, I lose another wrinkle. You can transmute whatever you want to. Hi, Anastasia. Wow. So you don't have to, you can have the scales tipped in your favor without engaging in the nastiness. You can just take the energy as energy. You can take it and transmute it. That's probably a whole other episode. But I call back my power. I release anything that isn't mine to carry. It should not be in my space. And then I reject any energy negatively being sent to me, with or without intention. Because here's the thing. It's unlikely. As special as y'all are, and for me, and for most people, it's going to be a very, 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 very small percentage of the time when somebody is like sitting with Eye of Newt and literally trying to like put a bad... Now, today's day, it might be a little higher percentage, but most of the time when someone is sending you bad energy, they're just saying words. We manifest with our words all the time. They're not sitting over a boiling pot of Eye of Newt and cutting up your name or, any of that. They're not doing it. It is just I hope she fails. I hope this. I hope that. You know, she's so dumb. Whatever it is that somebody could be saying about you, they're not even that smart. Whatever it is. You know, just, you want to get rid of any negative energy. There's a very famous clip of Cardi B accepting an award and saying, I want to thank my fans, but I want to thank my haters too, because they still listening to my albums. Like, yes, I love Cardi B. She embraces that, like, that's right, I'm a sensitive bitch. I'm a sensitive ass gangster that has cancer. So, like, I think she's funny. Do I subscribe to every single thing she does? And I'm sure she does some stuff that I would be like, oh, Lord. But that is priceless. That display of let your haters be your motivators. People are sending you negative energy. You can transmute it. Energy is energy. But just reject it. Just reject it. All right? So part of spiritual hygiene is how you create the space. Now, I have just cleaned my space. I can also light dragon's blood for extra, right? Because I'm working with a whole community. So I have some dragon's blood. Have a shell. Have something safe. Don't burn your house down. You know. I can do that for extra. But notice the one thing that I haven't done, the only thing that I've called in is my guides. I've created my protections. I have cleared my space. I don't need to walk around. I don't have to salt the edges of the room. I am just asking my guides to assist me in using my own divine power to call back my own, to reinforce that power by calling it back from anyone using it, releasing anything that isn't mine so I may clear a channel, and then rejecting anything that's going to be sent to me, especially because I'm constantly on a platform. Like, I'm putting myself out publicly for whatever. You know, and we can't expect, that was very sweet. Somebody said, like, you know, who's saying bad things about, like, people say stuff about me all the time. It's fine. It's okay. People are allowed not to like me. You know, you look at somebody like, I don't want to say Anne Hathaway, because there's like a million stories about her being problematic. But there, you know, there are people, some people maybe don't like Steve Martin. And some people love Steve Martin. Everybody's allowed not to. I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. People have opinions on the internet. I'm knowingly putting myself on the internet. It's okay, right? So, but I'm going to reject any energy that's coming in to thwart the space that I'm creating for a community. I am going to do that before every reading, to make sure there's nothing nefarious attached to anyone messing up the communication. Once you've done all that, then I'm going to sit and breathe again, and I'm going to imagine a giant white spotlight coming out of my head, or coming from, here's the thing. Some people imagine it coming from the 5D down into their heads. Mindset. I think that when we imagine the source coming down into us, we forget that we are also source. So, in my humble opinion, I think it's a good idea for us to create a deeper connection and ask to now connect with the rest of anybody else, to connect with our guides. If you just want to keep it to your guides, you can still do this. It's still going to heighten the connectivity. But when we consciously imagine that the light is coming out of our crown and up and out, we also are admitting that we are divine beings of light. We are having to acknowledge that the gifts are within us. Make sense? So if you think about taking source in, you're also kind of keeping a mindset that source doesn't exist already within you, that you have to pull it in. It's within you all the time, which is why you want to have protections when you're opening up. If there is a one love, one thought, one stream consciousness, right? Then it exists within us. It exists within the trees. It exists within the animals. It exists within everything. You've heard me say this a million times. We are molecules of energy. Energy is energy. So after you've done your breathing, you've relaxed your nervous system, you've relaxed your body, you're ready to be connected, you feel a little bit more grounded. We're going to say hello to our guides. We're going to invite them in. We're going to call back our power. We're going to release any energy that doesn't belong to us. We're going to reject any energy or anything yucky, stink, sunk being sent our way. Then we're going to breathe in again and imagine this great white light lifting up from that root chakra that we wanted to like breathe in the clean air and push it down, kind of not align, but awaken our chakra system, right? Because it all works together. And then that crown chakra. Breathe in, and the light is coming out of the top of your head. Breathe in. You might even start to notice the sensation at that top of the crown. Now, breathe in again. That light is shining out of the top of your head. You're going to breathe in again. And think about pushing that light out to the ceiling. Breathe in again. Think about pushing that light out to fill whatever room you're in. If you're in a huge, great room, if you're outside, really breathe again until you feel like you've pushed that light out till it's filling all the space around you. The space that you've already cleansed, the space that you are empowered with, the space that does not contain any harmful, negative, or nefarious energy. Now we're going to grab our cards, and again, if you don't have tarot cards, you can use a playing deck. And I said a playing deck of cards, not a plain deck. Okay, now all the cards have meanings. I'm actually putting together a tarot course. That's another thing for another day. But you don't even have to know any of these meanings. Nothing. You don't have to know anything for this. You're going to take your cards, shuffle how you shuffle. If you shuffle old school like you would shuffle to play poker, then shuffle that way. If you are terrible at shuffling, you have arthritis in your hands, whatever the case may be, you can also put them on the ground or on the table and mess them all up. It really doesn't matter because your guides have your back and they are bored. They are bored. I keep mine kind of busy. Some people keep theirs kind of busy. But they're just sitting around. You're their only job. They're bored. So they're happy to work with you. If you want to mess around the cards, they're fine with that. Don't ever let any hierarchy like dogma, rules bullshit tell you that there's only one way to shuffle. You know, that's not true. That's not true. You're great. You're fine. You shuffle how you have to shuffle, right? So then what I want you to ask your guides is, I want you to say, in this whole deck, show me my ultimate yes card. Okay. Now, whether you are shuffling and waiting for something to spring up, how you often see me shuffle, right? Or whether you shuffle, breathe into when the shuffling is done and you cut the deck and you lift, or whether you mess them all up or spread them out and just randomly pick one, it won't matter. But when you ask the guides to show you your ultimate yes card, whatever card you get next is going to be your ultimate yes card. Now, are there cards already designated for yes and no's and maybes in tarot? Sure. But that's not what we're doing here. We are creating our own language, our own communication, our own interpretation guide between us and our guides, right? So, does everybody understand? So you're going to take your cards and say, guides, please show me my ultimate yes card. So I already kind of have my yeses and my nos. And I can show you what I do too. I don't care. So one just flipped out, but it went back in. So for me, that's whatever. So whatever card I get, okay. I got the 5 of Cups in reverse. It came out in reverse. That is my ultimate yes card. No doubt. That's a yes card. Now, is it a yes and it doesn't matter? You're going to get a notebook, talk into your phone, make a note, and you're going to start writing down, because you'll forget. I promise you, you will. You're going to start writing down what your answers are. And then you're going to say, please show me a card that means that I'm safe and I'm okay when I am feeling freaked out by any kind of sign, happening, connectivity, spiritual activity, spiritual contact. When I am feeling not okay, and I need to have trust in that I am okay, or I need you to confirm that I am okay, I want you to show me the I'm safe card, right? If you shuffle and a whole bunch come out, I'm assuming nobody's typing because they all have stuff in their hands, because I can see how many people are actually listening. All right, so if you are, please, universe, spirits, and guides, please show me a card that means that I am safe and I don't have to worry. Because sometimes we get that tingly intuition feeling, right? The Devil in reverse. These cards both make sense to me. This is grieving, sadness, right? So what's the opposite of that? That is my ultimate yes, right? And then here's the Devil card, which could mean fear, something, right? In reverse, my ultimate, and they keep coming out in reverse. So then I would write down my ultimate, I am safe. I'm spiritually safe. You get what feels like somebody squeezing your shoulder or something is happening to you, and you feel like there's somebody there and there's nothing there. And you want to ask your guides, like, show me the card that means you're trying to warn me to be more aware of my circumstances, or I need to step up my security measures on my home. Please show me a card that means you're getting my attention for my awareness to be more mindful of my safety. Show me a card, please. Okay. Hi, Danny. You can usually get like a $9 Rider-Waite. I got the Death card for that. Okay? So then I would write that down. You can use playing cards too. If you just have playing cards, you're going to have 52 different cards to choose from. It's not 78, but you still have 52 cards to choose from. So you can use that. But you can, I'm pretty sure you can get like an $8 or $9 Rider-Waite deck, like a, you know, a cheap one. I still have my original. All right, you can ask your guides, take another breath. You can say thank you if you like. Thank you for working with me. And now I usually get like a little tingle when I take a breath and say thank you, but just see how that feels for you. Take a breath, center again. You can hold it. You can push it down to your root chakra. Okay. Then you can ask your guides, please show me a card that confirms that my fear or suspicion in the situation I was just thinking about is correct. Please show me a card that confirms that my fear or my suspicion about a certain situation is correct. Page of Wands. Now, again, would those mean the same if you were doing hardcore tarot? Maybe not, but it doesn't matter. Once I started doing tarot, I have a whole bunch of cards that I have written down for years now in my notes till I knew them like the back of my hand. That could mean that somebody has either lost their father at an early age, or a male who had, I have a specific card for grown men now that had very toxic relationships with their father. Yeah, I would say just go to Amazon. The best thing to do would to be find a spiritual store and support your mom and pop stores, support your nearest spiritual store, if you can find one, and that's a doable thing for you. You're probably still going to pay $9 for the deck, but you're supporting the community a little closer that way. But also, if you look on Amazon, you can find spiritual stores that do sell through Amazon and spiritual creators that do sell through Amazon. So if you want to do that too, whichever's more convenient, I guess, for you, or whatever feels right to you, I should say. So the thing is that you're creating a language, right? You can say, while you're just learning and you're opening up, okay, let's say you have 3 kids, right? And one of your kids is like being quiet or acting different or something. And you just want to know, hello, Lee. You just want to know, like, hey, Spirit, can you show me a card that confirms for me that I need to check in with my middle child? You see what I'm saying? You can make your questions whatever you need them to be. The Hermit. Now, I want to make it insanely clear that these cards that I pulled for those questions are not your cards. You are going to create your own personal language, your own personal interpretation with your guides. One of the other things that I do is I have, a lot of times now I use the pendulum, or I can hear or feel, see things. But when I was first using tarot, you know, I remember being in a session and somebody was asking me, is this person real or are they an imposter? Right? Because there was like an online thing. And every card I got was like the yes card, but upside down. The no card, but upside down. The maybe cards. It was really frustrating. So I needed to create a yes cards and no cards, right? So what I will do, I'm going to change my deck. What I will do, I'm going to use the new ones from Juan. Okay, what if you get the same card for a different question? As I was doing that, I was putting those cards aside. One, so I could notate them, and two, so they don't go back into the rotation. And this way you can't get the same card for a different question. Does that make sense? So the first one I think I got was the Page of Cups in reverse for my absolute yes. It went to the side. And ideally, you would be notating and leaving them. You can even take a picture and write notes on the picture. Whatever helps you. And as different as the illustration is going to be, and some decks may have bonus cards, you're still, the 78 cards are the 78 cards. Okay. So this is what I do. Okay. So let's say let's do some normal situations, right? Let's say somebody talks to you and say, I heard this, and you're like, where did you hear that from? And they won't tell you, and you have your suspicions, right? So you just want like a clear yes or no. And you say, I'm going to use a name that my dad used to like say all the time, but it's kind of not a real name. I guess it could be, but it was just a silly nickname, because this way I know I'm not saying anybody's name, right? You'd be like, okay, when I talk to AB, when I talk to because from ABC to puppies, if you know, you know. If you don't, I'm not explaining it. When I spoke to my friend AB, and they told me that they heard that I said something about them, but they won't tell me who, right? Please give me a yes or no card. If it was McGillicuddy that said it, right? Now, shuffle. Now, some people will be like, you have to shuffle 7 times. You have to shuffle a lot. You have to, I mean, I ask for all other energy, just clear all other energy and focus on, was that McGillicuddy that said, that I said that I didn't say, that's causing an issue with my friendship, right? So now I'm going to shuffle a couple of times and just feel into it when you're done. Okay, one more. Okay, now I'm going to split the deck. So splitting the deck, I usually split it like 3 times, put it back together, and then I just split it once more. Now, everybody's got their idea of what negative cards and positive cards are in the deck. For me, the negative cards are the one that keep us stuck, the ones that cause us anxiety, the ones that trip us up, trouble us, right? Because we have the power to release ourselves once, we start on the whole healing and release these like old trauma manifested behaviors, all of that. So the 8 of Swords, keeping you trapped in your own anxiety. The 9 of Swords, not being able to sleep. The 10 of Swords, pain that you need to put down. The 7 of Swords, somebody being shady with you, right? The 5 of Swords and the 3 of Swords. Those to me are my no cards. Now, if you hate the Devil card and the Tower card and the Death card, those could be your no cards. It doesn't matter. My positive yes cards are the 4 Queens, the Empress, and the High Priestess. So I got 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10 of Swords. It's 6 cards. And then I got the 4 Queens because I don't want to sit here with the deck all day. Some people just do one of each. I don't think the Tower card is a bad card. I don't think the Devil card is a bad card. And I don't think the Tower card, the Death card is a bad card. The cards that I can see as negative are the ones where we hold ourselves back, where we feel held hostage by trauma manifested behaviors, or which is like, you know, or social constructs, or anxiety, or, you know, or like the trauma that messes up our, you know, the body keeps the score. Well, you can't sleep, insomnia, because you're stressed. The stress cards, to me, are the more negative than the Death or the Tower or the Devil. So that's why those are mine, right? They don't have to be yours. The whole point is that you don't just say, well, Susie said. I want you to, you know, really lean into your guides, your connection, and come up with your own set of cards. So now this is split, right? So even though this is a 6 of Wands, and I'm like, oh, that could be a yes, and the Ace of, that's not what we're doing. I'm going to take one side, and I'm going to go through, and if I come up with the 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 of Swords, then it's a no. That McGillicuddy did not say that about me. I don't know. McGillicuddy's made up. And if it's a yes, then I know it is, right? So nope, nothing. Great. So actually, these are all really nice cards. It's just none of them are the card I'm talking about. We have 5 of Swords. They did say it. Damn McGillicuddy. Right? But now if I came across the Queen first, you just go through all of these. And here's the 10 of Swords. So, you know, it didn't take too long till I got a second confirmation. Now, let me tell you something. We still don't know if McGillicuddy said that thing because they heard it from somebody else, or they're playing on their own insecurities. It doesn't make them evil. But I'm just saying, like, if you're like, am I crazy? When somebody's trying to gaslight you, you can check with your cards and be like, am I being gaslit? Oh, yes. Create your own yes or no. I totally suggest that you create a set of at least 4, whatever, because you don't want to be sitting here going through all 78 cards looking for one card. You can shuffle and start with the whole deck. You can split the deck. The point is you are going to think about the questions that plague your mind most. Like, am I feeling this other person's energy? Right? When I feel like I'm feeling this other person's energy and it's this specific person, please show me a card for this specific person when they are fully in my energy. Because somebody's higher self can hang out with you. There's somebody that I don't have a ton of contact with, but we're so connected that I will be in a session with another, either with a client that has gifts or with I'm getting a session. They will describe that person like their higher self is like with you now all the time. All the time. So like it took me a while, like, am I crazy or am I feeling that energy or am I feeling somebody? So like if you create with your guides, then you don't have to guess. But the other thing is that, you know, if you say you try to find out whether, again, just normal situation, did somebody say something, right, to my best, or where is this interruption coming from? So if you ask your guides and use the cards as clarity, whether somebody said something or somebody did something, or whether you're imagining something or this is really happening, then when you get the proof, this is also has a twofold benefit because you're learning to trust in yourself. You can use this for your kids though. Like you can use this like, do I need to check on this one? Show me a card for that. So when I'm reading for somebody and I'm doing like a general spread, there are cards that I know mean something very specific beyond the basic. Do I have the full knowledge of the tarot? Sure. There are probably explanations and things that I have not uncovered yet because it's an ancient divination. Yeah. I can't possibly sit here and think that I know every single last detailed thing, history about. Do I know a lot, enough to teach? Sure. But could you also learn more from somebody else who's also teaching it? Yeah. I have a friend, James, has been doing it for like 40, 50 years. There's no way he doesn't know stuff that I don't know. Of course he does, right? So this creates trust between you and yourself. The most important, we talked about spiritual teams in the beginning. The most important, impactful person on your entire spiritual team is your higher self. It's the version of you who's lived more lives. It's the version of you who has had experience. It's the version of you who can see. Also, you want to build that trust. You don't want to have prediction addiction, because what it does is it robs you of being happy now. Anxiety is worrying about living in the future. Depression is, being stuck in the past often. They manifest physically in us. The joy is in now. And knowing that you don't have to ask for everything to come to you at once, and that you're not going to be a better person once you're all healed. You're going to be a more healed person. That doesn't mean you were a shitty person before. But using using this method to create a communication, come up with your own list of questions. The birthday special doesn't go live. If you look at the details, it won't go live till 8 p.m. tonight. So I don't know where you are, but for us, that's in another 6.5 hours from now. It goes live. It's a flash sale, so it starts like the night before my birthday, and then it goes to like Wednesday at 2 p.m. So it's 66 hours. You can also ask to go on my mailing list too, because then you'll get an email. But the button will go live at 8 p.m. tonight, I promise. So we've already been going for a while, but I want to take questions. And so ask me clarifying questions, because Stella's question about what if we get the same card was excellent. I wasn't clarifying that I was, putting those cards to the side as I was getting them. While I wait for the questions to come in, let's give away another. This is for if you only want to win the reading and you don't want to participate in this one to win, that's fine. But this is going to be for another chart, and I will give you a chart. And even if you want, like, I have basic compatibility scores. If you want a composite chart or a bi-wheel of you and another person, and you want like the profile scores, if you want a relocation report along with a solar return chart if you were in that area, there's lots I can do. But let's, all right, I have a thing in my hand. Everybody breathe in. Think about pressing that air down to the root chakra. Exhale longer. Use the things I just taught you. Let's see if you can link in to the thing that I'm holding. Oh, Alt 03. I meant like ask questions about what about what we've been talking about today, spiritual. I still have to talk a little bit more about spiritual hygiene. So you guys go ahead and guess the color. This is for the chart and report, and then I'm going to give away a reading. Nikki, it's pink. It's my Nivea watermelon chapstick. Hi, Latanya. Hi, Shin. Excellent. Nikki, you won, so you can email me or you can just go to the website and contact me. People are asking about how to book a read. I would wait the 6.5 hours until the birthday special kicks in. I'll be honest. But there'll be a button there that you will be able to click once it's those prices are not live. If you don't want to wait, or you want to book a dual session with Connie, Joe, and I, which those are not part of the birthday flash sale, then you would just go to the website, and there is every other place that it says book a session. Like right as soon as my website opens up, on the page where it says trauma informed, there is a book a session button. There's a book a session button in like 3 places in the website. But for the birthday prices, you're not gonna be able to book those until 8 p.m. tonight, which is 6 hours and 20 minutes from now. And then I'm just gonna tell you, like, I already know there's 3 people that are gonna go, like, they book for the whole. I run this twice. And they book out. One does like 15-minute appointments once a month, half an hour appointments once a month. I have somebody that books all. So the last year when I did this, by the end of 3 days, I only had like 4 open appointments in July. And I was booked like a lot of August. When I did this in the winter, which was the end of December, people booked appointments all the way out till October. It didn't mean that I was fully booked until October. I'm just saying that, like, if your schedule is tight, I might jump on the sale earlier so you get what you want, because my schedule is still going to be my schedule. But you can book as many as you like, up to like 7 months in advance. I think my scheduling lets you book too. I'm just changing the prices. I'm just lowering the prices. There's like no other restriction. The only restriction is, as I ask you, please don't buy 2 15 minutes and put them together, because there's already just like because what happens then too, when you go to book them, I already have space to have in between clients. And then it's like, when you put those 2 together, there's a 30-minute. So just please don't take 15 minutes and put them together. But also, that's jamming up my schedule, because now for a 15-minute appointment, I can't make like a 5-minute lapse over. There's only 15 minutes in between appointments. So now for a half an hour, I also have a half an hour of dead space, because each of those 15 minutes is going to take up a 15-minute layover in my schedule, if that makes sense. So whenever you try to like take 2 appointments and book them together, it really messes up my schedule and my availability. And so I just like, there's a 15, a 30, an hour, and a 90 minutes. So whatever kind you want, they're all on sale. But I just ask that you don't buy 2 of them and put them in the same spot. And you can also gift them to other people. You can gift them to other people. Okay, does anybody have any other questions about... Aw. Does anybody have any other questions about the tarot or pulling in anything as far as like the questions you have to ask? You'll come up with your own questions. We can do a part 2 on this because there's a lot more to go over. But let me, when channeling spirits, should you do some room cleansing or decluttering? Okay. So in general, good spiritual hygiene, which I am not practicing this moment, I do love and respect and believe in feng shui, right? So when I changed my office, appointments were like literally flooding in. I had other business opportunities. Like my office has since got cluttered again because I have my stuff and my mom's stuff. And so my office is also not just my office for this, but it's my office for life. And there are things until like the estate was settled that like there's a corner now that everything is all piled up again as I continually try to reorganize my house, right? So decluttering and having your house clean is great. I love when I'm like mopping the floor of my office too. You know, you can put the algae rune or whatever rune that you like for abundance, protection, whatever. Lick your finger. Your saliva is plenty powerful. My kids don't love that when I do that to their foreheads when they're traveling or going to the movies without me, just to put extra little on them. You can do salt water. But the other thing is, next, great question, Heather. The other thing is about, like in general, cleaning your home is considered spiritual hygiene, decluttering and all of that. Hi, Renata. Thank you. You can make a rosemary spray. I mean, it's fresh herb season. So like, you know, you can get a rosemary spray. You can boil water and put rosemary and crushed cloves in your mopping water if you want to do that. Whatever you have faith in, you believe in, you know, kitchen witches are a real thing. You know, even the Italians put love in their cooking. And keep their house, you know, swept and they usually, I don't know, I'm from New York. If you've ever seen an Italian sweep, they usually keep the doors open and they sweep everything out. They don't want it to stay in the house. You know, they put the love in like, all of that is intention. That is us being powerful beings that understand that we're connected to something, a higher power. So cleaning your house, yep, Peacock, absolutely. But cleaning your house and decluttering your space, yes. Sometimes it's a little hard if you're living in a smaller space or you have kids that live in your house, they undo the cleaning, you know, that kind of thing. It's, you know, it can be hard to really adhere, and you're not spiritually dirty if you have a little clutter. It's more like things like, you asking, and I did this in the beginning, you asking, oh, happy birthday, thank you, Sunny, and feel well. So glad you're doing well. There are, you know, asking to call back your power, asking to release any energy that isn't yours, asking and saying to reject, demanding that any negative energy just be sent back, wrapped in love and light. Those kind of things, those are also spiritual protections. Just taking a breath and centering yourself before you're asking to open up energy. so that your overcrowded thoughts or your stress isn't, that's why I go to reading. That's Connie Jo goes to me. I go to her. We both go to other people too. Because we have our own desires, and ego doesn't mean egotistical. Ego doesn't mean egocentric. Ego and egotistical are two different things. We have our own id. We have our own ego. And it's hard to read for ourselves because we have thoughts and feelings and unprocessed stuff that are going to flavor our interpretation, which is why sometimes we go to other people for full on readings. But to develop trust in yourself, one of the best things is to make sure your energy is kind of calm before you run for the cards. Cleansing decks and whatnot. I used to use a lot more divination and clearing. I have selenite. I have kind of crystals that will absorb and clean. I mean, I have everywhere. They're everywhere in my office. I have, big guys too. I just always sit and calmly have a conversation with my guides that my space is clear. And I ask to clear all the energy. Now, before Friday night, I clear my stuff, and if you notice, I don't use the same deck twice because I want to clear the one sign's energy from the other. You clear your decks as much as you feel like that you need to. Also, sometimes I say a deck is kicked, won't talk to me. You probably all seen me do that. Okay, you don't want to talk to me? I got another deck. That's not, because that's usually because there's artwork or some other piece of an answer that we're going to get from a different deck. Hi, Mary the Aries. You can just please clear any other energy from this deck before I use it for Heather. Please clear any other energy. You could just leave. I mean, you can get big selenite wands. I've had so many. One broke. It's pieces of my original selenite wand. But you can also get these little selenites and you can put them on top of your decks. You could put them on your windowsills or outside in a new moon. All right. So forever skipping I was not looking at time because I don't do anything. Anyway, I'm not even going to say it. So the room got a little smaller. So I'm going to give away a reading, which gives everybody a better chance. Okay. So, and then you guys can think of any other questions you have. Hi, Sparkle Mint. Yeah, it's not that your intuition isn't good for you. That's why I'm trying to but build trust in am I okay? Am I safe? Because sometimes, that'll be a different video, but I ask the guides to communicate through my body in different ways. So if my ears ring on the right, I know that I just hit something or said something that I'm supposed to expand upon or really sink my teeth into, whether that's with a client or whether I'm having a thought or an idea that I think would be good for my family or myself or my career, right? If my ears start ringing, that's my guides going, yes, 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 that. If my left ear rings, I know that I'm supposed to quit all conversations, stop paying attention to what I'm doing, and be aware of my surroundings. That's the warning. So we can get into another video for that. So yeah, lavender spray is nice. Rosemary, cloves. There's so many things that have, herbs that have cleansing and abundance benefits. Salt, eggshells, cinnamon, these kind of things. You also don't want to be in so much fear that you think that you need 1,000 tools, that you close yourself off, because that fear energetically can interpret I'm not ready to really be receiving. Your guides are going to also be a little protective of you. They're gonna do their best to help guide you to your happiest life. That doesn't mean avoiding all incident. Yeah. Zach, just, you can use, if your ears are ringing, then you can ask the guides. You can use it anytime that you're getting a physical sensation, or hearing a certain noise or seeing a certain thing. Grab cards or just ask your guides, like, hey, I don't mind the ears ringing so much, but can we make a deal that, like, on this side it means this thing and on that side it means the other? When this hand tingles, or when it feels like somebody's blowing on my neck, can that just be confirmation for whatever I'm channeling, right? Use your physical sensations and all of that. And also pick up the deck and be like, hey, and you could do this. If when my ears are ringing, it means that I just said something that I'm supposed to pay attention to. Show me this card. If when my ears are ringing, I'm supposed to, like, pay attention to my surroundings. And then you'll see a different card. You know what I mean? And write it down. This is what I'm talking about. You can use these because everybody is getting, and it's going to happen more in this Pisces Neptune and these, Pisces, Saturn. It's gonna open more. It's all of these sensations, all of the connectivity. So you can use the cards to clarify and get clear on communication, or clearer on communication with your guides. Also learning trust in yourself, because that's so important. The last thing I want to say about spiritual hygiene is that be careful with mirrors. If you I would get guidance if you're doing any kind of clearing work. If you feel like there's something in your home that was either there before, or you're dealing with somebody that has, like, an attachment. This is for, like, my people who are already dabbling in spirituality. Sometimes once we open, you can ask your guides, please don't make me open to any kind of entities, because bad or good, I'm not ready, right? Be careful if you're asking spirits to come in, if you're practicing maybe mediumship, or you're help clearing nasty energy for somebody else, because, like, your best friend is like, I swear to God, there's something in my house. And you're like, well, let me look up what we do. Just make sure you release any energy that does not, you release any entities. That's really important, especially once you're open. Once you start using your gifts, it's very easy to absorb other people's shit. But also, come on, they're entities. We can't believe in mediumship and all of that stuff, right? So you want to cover your mirrors if you're doing any kind of, like, spiritual cleansing work. If you're clearing your house because you feel a funky energy, if you're clearing your space, if you're protecting your children, if any of that stuff. And so you are asking for things to come out and go out, right? Cover your mirrors. And I say this from experience, because I have helped people remove things from their homes, from their personal space. And I had protections on the room, so I did not cover my mirrors. Then I moved the mirror, and it did not take more than 24 hours of moving that mirror into a different room, where it banged violently off the wall and smashed in a million pieces. And I mean, it banged like there was a 300-pound, 7-foot pure muscle man banging with both arms on my walls. in the middle of the night. Everyone else was sleeping, and Lee heard it too. So that confirmed I wasn't crazy. For this little lightweight plastic mirror that weighed nothing. Like all over the floor. Because a lot of the stuff that I will speak to you about is stuff that I stumbled with or struggled with. So hence why I'm trying to share the guidance. Just cover your mirrors. If you see somebody's video that's encouraging you to do mirror work, to like summon things in, like higher selves or past lives or anything, I would say that is at like, I would not say that's a beginner thing to do. So there's videos on YouTube that you can find to do mirror work to like expand your connection. You open doors, you gotta close them. Spiritual hygiene means not wishing other people harm with your gifts. Spiritual hygiene also means not weaponizing somebody's pain to make them feel dependent on you, whether that's financially or just because you feel like you're in your place, that you can shine or that you're helpful, that it doesn't ever create a codependency, because that's not helping either. Spiritual hygiene means being really ethical when you involve yourself with somebody else and guidance, because after a while, your gifts may not feel as strong. Universe wants you to use your gifts for good. Yes, some of us like make a living doing this. You're not supposed to use it though. You're not supposed to like weaponize it, people's vulnerability, to keep them coming back or anything like that. Just know that spiritual hygiene is ethics, but yeah, mirrors. Yeah, mirrors are a big portal. So, and I read somebody else said, yeah, I could walk down the scare. I don't get scared. Like, I really don't get scared. And that night was scary because this noise was incredible. And at first I thought it was somebody at my front door, and I was literally couldn't sleep and was up in the kitchen. So I was in the room. There was nothing else in the room with me. I was in eye line of it. And then the way I have like an open plan. So like the kitchen counter, like the island, if I'm standing at the island and making something, I'm facing the front of the house. I'm looking right at that area. And when I went over to the door wasn't even locked. So nobody could have been like, when I opened, nothing. And I live on a dead end. I live like, nobody could have escaped that fast. My yard is all fenced. There was nobody on it. It was not a person. There's nothing on the other side of that wall. That wall doesn't go outside, that somebody could have been banging the wall that the mirror was on. So I get what you're saying about mirrors and windows. Somebody else said, they say don't put mirrors against, if you just say there's no, like, I do not allow negative, nefarious entities in my home, I wouldn't worry that much about something coming in through the window into your mirror. Remember, you have the power to just say, fuck that, get out. If you're feeling like you're having sleep paralysis and all of a sudden like you're uncomfortable, you're having problems, you feel like you can't breathe or you're stuck or you're, any of that. If you even start thinking, if you feel like you can't talk, if you even start thinking like, get the fuck out, you have no power here. You have no power here. Just leave. Go find where you're supposed to be. It can't be here. Say it with authority. I have a cat that you guys never see because she barely tolerates her captivity. We rescued her. I don't think she feels very. She likes the bouginess. She likes her. She likes her treats. She likes her where she sleeps at night. If you tell her it's bedtime, she will go upstairs with Lee. But she wants to be outside all the time. And my two kids are so sweet. They're like, Anna, come in, please. Come on, it's time. That cat is so alpha that the only way it comes in is I go outside. I go, all right, come on, let's go. It's time. It's the authority. When she's on something where she's not supposed to be, you can't go, come on, get down to her. She only responds. It's the same way. Speak with the authority. Understand that you have the power. If you feel like there's something not right. And also if you feel like there's something not right, I'm happy to be supportive. You can, the other day, somebody had an experience, and I feel like this is going to happen more again with the astrological portals that are happening. We have the Lion's Gate coming up in less than 2 months. Email me. I do take emergency appointments. I don't charge double for them or anything. They're the same price. If I can accommodate you and you're having that kind of an emergency and you want to see me like that day, you can email me. And we can do stuff. I had the problem with the mirror. Let me be clear. It's not because I have mirrors. It's not because there was a mirror facing any one wall. I had the problem with the mirror because I literally did work in that room. I did heavy spiritual work in that room. I did clearings. I got things out of people's home. I don't advertise that I do that because I don't want to be doing that every day. But there is, God, I hate saying that. There's like a warrior authority energy to my higher self that I don't always resonate within the 3D. But when it's summoned, and those practices are all good, clearing and getting, and there's ways to get it out of your house. We're not going to go over that now. And I'm not going to I don't feel like that's smart advice to just kind of give on the internet. But the problem is once I moved it out of the room, that had all the protections, not even 24 hours, violent. Yeah. And then other things happened after that until I completely cleared. Not fun. Yeah. Oh, Shorty, have a great day. So I talked about that in the beginning, Peacock. And guys, honestly, for anything, like if I said one thing and then it opens up your mind to a million other questions, by all means, leave me a comment when this ends and we can do other videos, or maybe I should just do like very small classes. I feel a little funny about some of this stuff being on the internet because you can take a little bit of information and not listen to all of it and then go run with it and then put yourself in a position that's not great. Yeah, I mean, houses get, energy is energy. It can travel with people. It can stay. But yes, I try not to, that's not really the space I want to be in all the time, but I will help clients that have, and it's been successful. I mean, like it's been years. People had stuff happening for years and then, we did a clearing and now it's been years since that. And it's not been a problem for the first time in over a decade, those kind of things. I've had to learn about good spiritual hygiene and I've made mistakes about good spiritual hygiene. And so it felt really important to, while we're having portals and lots of Neptunian energy, that people know how to ground, regulate your nervous system before you channel, to call back your power, to release energy that's not yours, and to reject energy. And we can do a video on transmutation. All right. I'm going to give away a reading. Whew. I'm going to give away 2 15 minutes instead of 1:30. And I'll tell you even what, if you end up getting, if you end up winning one of the 15 minutes, I may pop on tomorrow to give away a 15-minute reading too. I'm going to give away 2 15-minute readings. And then if you want to get a birthday special and add the free reading, I will let you extend the time. Just make sure you email me so that I put the time away for you. Hi, Gibbs. Okay, so let me think of something to grab. I'm going to grab a stone, and you can either guess the stone or its color. Hold on. Add another whole thing. Hold on. God, that smells good. Huh. There was a specific stone I wanted. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So you can either guess, it's in my hand, you can either guess the color or the stone. Thanks, Gibbs. Yeah. It's also, oh, Stella. Stella got it. It's green. It's a jade. Hold on. I'm going to grab another one. I'm going to give away 2. So I'm going to grab a different one. Okay. Okay, so I have a different stone. Are we reset? Stella 1. Yay, I'm so happy for you, Stella. She said green, it was green. Okay, Stella, did you win last night? I think you won a chart or a report. I think Charlie won the reading. Okay, so yeah, I believe it. Okay, so hold on. Let's stop for a second. Okay, so we're going to take a breath because I'm giving away 2 readings, Gibbs. All right, I have to, guys, can we stop for a second though? Because I have to pick a starting point because it went right from me. So people were guessing colors while we're still waiting to give the other one away. Okay. So hold on 1 second. We're going to breathe into, so right here where Anne Murphy says, I'm eating a cookie, you all are killing me with the hearts. That's where we're going to start. So anything that was guessed before is not. We're giving away a 15-minute reading. Okay. All right. So now you guys can start guessing. Just guess the color. Let's just make this easy because there's a million stones. Just guess the color. Obviously, it's not green because I wouldn't pick up a second green stone. And the first person on my end for my internet feed, you can guess the same colors that you guessed before. Danny R. It's purple. Can you guys see that? It's purple. Betty, so close. Okay. So Danny R and Stella, make sure you both email me. The email should be in the description. And the sale will go live in less than 6 hours. The button will be there, I promise. And again, you can book as many as you want, and as far into 7 months as you want to go. And I'm just telling you right now that I have some regulars that go nuts when it first opens up. So if you want something in the next like 2 weeks, I may not wait 2 days, like towards the end. All right. I hope this was helpful. Please watch it as many times as you have to watch. Most of you are very much, you know, all of you are people of integrity. I'm gonna eventually do like a video on ethics in metaphysical practice. And I'm still talking to the lovely people at the ethics committee for ESAR about getting more involved there as well. Ethics are important and they are part of our spiritual hygiene. I might pop on tomorrow, even though it's my birthday. I did last year too. I just want to thank you all for another year. This community is my gift every day. Truly, I'm so grateful for all of you. Hi, Jacqueline. And you know, if while this is all happening, while the portals are open, while we have this all Neptunian energy, while people are going to be waking up at an accelerated, while people are going to be getting into their gifts at an accelerated rate, you know, if something happens and you're shook, email me and I will do an emergency reading, and I will not at all try to capitalize on your emergency. I'm not going to charge you extra. If I can accommodate it, I will. And I love you. Now you love you. I'm going to make my own cake because I'm a nut. I love to cook. I love to cook and make. So, I'm making the kids and I are going to decorate it. Actually, Juan had gotten, the Russian icing tips for me off my Amazon list, so I'm pretty excited because it just go and it makes a flower. So yeah, we're gonna make the cake. My favorite cake is a vanilla cake, kind of almondy, with a mocha filling and a walnut icing. I used to work in a bakery in the 80s. Watch how old I am. And the baker there let me like put together my own concoction, and I was like, this is it for me for the rest of my life. It's really hard to find. You kind of have to make it, or find like an old school bakery, because I can smell it now. Could you recommend a report for health? If we look at something that it's really going to be like partially your 6th house, partially your 1st house. Let me look and see what I have. I'm thinking that the moon phase report might, I don't have one that's all health. I'm not going to say that I do. The solar return though, you can use it for, even if you're halfway through your birthday, the solar return, you could get it for 22. 2022, and it'll give you whatever the 6 months that you have still coming. But it will go over the focus of the 6th house, which will focus on your health, and also if you have any aspects for like this year. So rather than getting something overwhelming for your health your whole life, I would actually, a solar return report would be the way to go, because it's gonna have focus on other things. It won't just all be health. But all right, so if you won something, I think we gave away 2 charts, 2 reports, and 2 readings. I always feel really generous on my birthday. So yeah, the solar return, you get a chart with that too, Nikki. And if you won a chart and a report, you can have any combination. I'll let you know what the things are. All right. I love you all. Again, you guys are my gifts every day, truly. I'm a very lucky girl. There's not really a lot that I need for my birthday tomorrow. I will already be with the people I love. Well, there's 2 more that I would love to be here, but you know, you get older kids and they move out of your house, damn it. But their joy anyway. So I'm a really lucky person. Oh, no worry, Jacqueline. You can rewatch it. We went over a lot today. Today was a good video. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you, Marissa. Bye.